Hello, my name is Vincent Childerley, an acupuncture practitioner at Wye Valley Acupuncture. This short video is just to show some of the equipment that I use in my clinic every day, and the most obvious place to start I think is with the needles, so let's have a look at the needles. Okay, so a look at the needles. I just thought it would be interesting for a comparison initially is just to have a look at the needle in this packet is the sort that would typically be used to have an injection. Say you're at the doctor's and you were having your flu jab or something like that. You would normally have a needle, something like this. This, for a fairly big muscle, you would put this in to inject, like say, flu jab or tetanus or whatever. You can see it's quite a thick needle. If I put that to one side, similarly packaged in single-use only sterile packaging, exactly the same as the medical needle, is acupuncture needles. This is a pack of 5 needles. If I take the acupuncture needle out, I'm not even sure that the camera can pick up on this, on the size of it. But if you can see, it's about twice the thickness of a human hair. It's a very thin, fine needle. And when we make claims about acupuncture really not hurting very much, or at all, if you're with a very skilled practitioner, the reason is, you can see quite clearly that's a modest injection needle, that's an acupuncture needle, and it's a fraction of the size. And as I say, in skilled hands that can be inserted with virtually no sensation. Okay, that's the needles. Let's have a look at some of the other equipment. The first thing I have here, this is an electro-acupuncture machine. I've popped a couple of needles in a practice pad just for you to see. Electrodes are attached to the needles, and an electric current can then be passed through the needles. It's similar to a TENS machine. It gives you a very pleasant tingle sensation through the needles. It's not painful at all. There's no shock. It's not shock therapy. It's just electrostimulation. It can be very useful, particularly with musculoskeletal conditions. Next, we'll have a look at there's a herb that's commonly used to warm, and in the traditional way of thinking of things, we nourish the energy of the body with a herb called moxa, which can be applied directly to the body. I'll just show you how that works. What we do is this is the herb, moxa. We take a small amount of it and roll it into a small cone shape. If I damp the end, it'll then stick to an acupuncture point, and then I light the cone of moxa, and that will burn down, warming and nourishing the body's energy. You could just think of it as a thermal treatment, a way of warming a point prior to needling. When it gets near the skin, it gets warm, we take it off. So that's moxa. Another commonly used technique, certainly I use very often, is called gua sha. Gua sha, you can check that on the internet, Google it to see exactly how it works. But essentially it's a type of massage. You generally use a tool, something like this is a hard piece of plastic. This is massage oil. It's very useful sometimes to put oil onto a person's particularly shoulders, where most of us hold a lot of tension. You put oil on. You use a particular scraping motion with the gua sha tool, helps to identify where knots in the muscle are, break them down. If the knots in the muscle won't break down with the gua sha tool, it will very often identify where they are, and they can then be needled, is another way to get rid of knots in muscles, if they won't respond to other manual techniques. So that's gua sha. The other one I use quite commonly is cups, Chinese cups. Traditionally they're done as fire cups, where you light like an alcohol swab underneath the cup, and then once it's alight you immediately take it out and stick it on the skin. Creates suction. I don't use them that way. These are suction cups. I can attach a pump to this end of the cup, put it on the skin, and then it creates a vacuum and it will stay. They're commonly used on the back. They're sort of a bit like a massage in a way, in the sense that they promote blood flow into an area where we consider there to be a lack of blood flow. Increasing blood flow is always a good thing, and similar to the gua sha really in many ways, and actually needling techniques that will often be designed in order to create an increase in blood flow to an area. That's Chinese cups. So that's all the equipment that I use. The needles we've seen, these other bits and pieces. That's it really.